Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to week 2, episode 2 of Avenue A, where we talk networking, acting, and the industry. For those of you who tuned in last week and are here with us again, thank you so much for the support as I launched this super fun passion project. And for those of you who are just tuning in for the first time, welcome. We are happy to have you here. So just to introduce a little bit about the show for those of you who haven't watched it before, we had our first episode last week, and Avenue A is a platform that I created, a live stream platform to celebrate and connect with my fellow artists, and to also create an accessible resource for people watching, because we stream the show live, but then it also gets recorded and broadcasted to social media on YouTube and Facebook. So, and I also just launched this week, I launched the Avenue A Facebook page, which is www.facebook.com/Avenue A Live. So you can find us there as well. So today, I'm very excited. We have a very special guest here with us. Her name is Megan Garbayo. So Megan is the marketing strategist at McArts Consulting. Previously, she was the outreach and education manager at $3 Bill Cinema and the marketing associate for the Seattle International Film Festival. She's the co-founder and co-director of OUTstream Film Festival, which is tagged as the queerest fest on the net, which I love. And that's happening from June 1st through the 7th. And OUTstream Festival's mission is to present films that expand the culture of queer content and to highlight work that challenges mindsets and opens hearts. Amen. So today, May 29th, OUTstream launched their free program called Queering the Quarantine, which kicks off the festival right in time for Pride Month. So I'm very excited to welcome on Megan. Hi.
Hi, Kelsey.
Thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited.
So today's it's the perfect day for you to be on because your free event, Queering the Quarantine, kicks off today, your
Actually,
OUTstream Festival.
It kicks off tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay.
But it's totally awesome, and it'll be available tomorrow until the 7th.
Yay.
On our platform.
Can you talk a little bit about what that is and why you created it?
Yeah, so I guess to back up, I'll start with how we kind of came up with the idea of OUTstream and then how Queering the Quarantine came out of that.
Yeah.
So we started OUTstream, me and my former coworker, we'd met at SIFF, the Seattle International Film Festival, working in different departments. And then he moved on to $3 Bill Cinema as the executive director. And I followed him. And $3 Bill Cinema is a queer film and media nonprofit in Seattle, Washington.
Awesome.
They put on the Seattle Queer Film Festival and the Seattle Transgender Film Festival, which are two of my favorite festivals of all time. And then as we've moved into this quarantine time, Ben ended up moving back to North Carolina. I'm still here in Seattle. And he said, why don't we try and do an online queer film festival? Like, it hasn't been done yet. We've got tons of free time. And I was like, great. So that's sort of how the festival came to be. And in less than 2 months, we put together 12 features, 5 shorts programs, and a bunch of different industry sort of panels and chats. Cool. For everyone. All of those are free. Like the industry panel stuff is all free. We have like the Queering the Quarantine shorts, which are also free. So to build up excitement about the festival, we came up with this idea called Queering the Quarantine, where we challenged filmmakers from all over the world to create a 5 minutes or less film that they shoot using safety and social distancing, to just come up with express their queer quarantine experience.
Nice.
And we got some pretty awesome content. I'm pretty excited about it. And we're going to do a big Q&A with all the filmmakers afterwards. We've got a film from Japan, a film from the UK, all over the country. Yeah, I'm super stoked about it. I'm a nervous bang swooper. Yeah, so that's how Queering the Quarantine came about. And it came like a little pet project with me and another programmer on the team, Gil Sima, who's the former executive director of the Tel Aviv Queer Film Festival in Israel.
Oh, cool.
So we've got like kind of an international programming committee and like a really far-flung screening committee of just basically all of the favorite people we wanted to work with, like a dream team.
Yes.
We've met over the years in the film festival world, just like all of our favorite queers in one spot. So it's been pretty awesome last 2 months putting it together.
That's so cool. I'm so impressed because I was looking at, the OUTstream's website and all of the like advertising you've put together. The marketing is incredible, especially for just having started it 2 months ago. Like the brand is amazing. So props to you on that.
Yeah, and I have to shout out my amazing social media manager, Rachel Malia Newkirk. She was an intern with us in programming at $3 Bill.
Okay.
And so when we started this venture, we just knew that she would really kick ass in this position. So oh look, she just
Is that
she
her
just
there?
Yay,
World premiere.
premiere.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
Yay.
She's killing it. And so, I mean, yeah, that's kind of how you break into this business in film festivals is you intern somewhere and then someone remembers how cool you were and you end up somewhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a filmmaker. I went to school for
that.
film, but the film festival circuit and community has become like my second home creatively and artistically.
That's awesome. That kind of leads me into the first question I wanted to ask you, which is what, from your perspective, what's the importance of film festivals specifically for filmmakers? Tell me a little bit about the impact that film festivals have had on you and your community, specifically from a networking standpoint.
So this is now kind of in jeopardy with the quarantine, and a lot of like, Netflix just announced that they're going to skip film festivals for this Oscar season.
I did not hear that.
Film festivals are the way that small films and filmmakers get known. So you make a short or a feature and you submit it to a film festival, and the people who attend film festivals are producers, other directors, other filmmakers, actors, and most importantly, distributors. Not most importantly, but distributors are there, and they're there to pick up the films they think that they can sell. And so going, like most film festivals have like a heavy networking side to it. There's usually like filmmaker happy hours. Like even for our virtual film festival, every day we're going to have like a Zoom room for virtual filmmaker happy hour for our filmmakers to mingle. Basically, like, I guess the best way to explain it is everyone I know right now on this team is because of attending film festivals.
Wow.
I sort of fell into SIF because my husband wanted to do a podcast with me, and we were reviewing movies, and then SIF picked us up as their official podcast.
Cool.
So we became SIFcast. So I was just doing the podcast for a while, but I wasn't like really in with like the programmers or like the festival itself. We were just doing basically their manager of PR would send us filmmakers whose films they were going to show, and we would interview them. And then I eventually ended up getting a seasonal position there during festival for being a marketing associate. And I didn't really have like a ton of marketing experience per se, but I did know a lot about movies. Mm-hmm. And while there, I met like all my best friends and all the people that I create with. Like my writing partner was another marketing associate the second year I did it, and we're writing a feature queer horror right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's like a lot of the people who work in film festivals are creatives themselves is like one part that makes it like awesome to be involved. And then also like you're just going to see stuff that you've never seen before, and it's really inspiring. I was always in charge of like the marketing the Asian pictures. And so like I got really into like Japanese and Korean films, and now you see like Parasite blowing up, and it's like, oh, I have 45 other movies that you could watch that are just as awesome. Yeah. And like one of our screening committee members, he's actually an actor that was in a short that I saw at Frameline, which is the queer film festival in San Francisco.
Okay.
I went there to program on a trip with my now partner but former boss, Ben. And so I was in charge of looking for like family friendly shorts and bi shorts and like pansexual shorts. Found this great short that I loved, met the actor who was in it, who was there promoting it. And now we were able to get him to come visit our festival when we played that film in ours. And now he was like a screening member for OUTstream. So it's like,
wow,
it's all very like who you know.
Very connected. Yeah.
But also I find it's just, I don't know, there's networking for the sake of networking, which is just giving out your card to everyone. And then there's picking like 2 or 3 people in the room you think you vibe with.
Yes.
And then just vibing with them and keeping that relationship going.
Well, I think that's the key. You know, I love that you said that, because as I sort of like not begin my networking journey, but essentially I'm right out of school. So it is sort of a new-ish thing for me, like post-college networking. What is that, you know? And I've come to realize, and I think it's a really good point, that picking the people, or sort of seeing the people who you're like, oh, like I like either what they're doing, or I like their vibe, or I love the work that they're involved in, and then sort of trying to get in that circle with them because you have similar artistic interests. I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah, and we're such a it's such a tight-knit community that sure. I think also it's really easy to like keep in touch and be like, hey, if you have something coming down the pipeline, let me know and I'll talk about it on my platform. Nice. And then they'll reciprocate it, basically.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's low-key. It's not like totally tit for tat, but it's kind of being like, when I'm networking, I'm like, how can I help you achieve what you're trying to do more than how can you achieve what I'm trying to do? Because usually it works out that then I just have someone who can help me when I need it. I don't know. That's sort of the attitude I go into networking with, is like, what can I do for you that will make you want to continue this relationship with me? That's like helpful, whether that's, recommending PAs for your short shoot next weekend, or, I have another college alum over at a different festival that I would love to see your film, and sort of forwarding it on over.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
So I like that you mentioned how someone who is now on the team at OUTstream was an actor that you met at a different film festival. Is that right?
Yeah.
So as an actor myself, that's very fascinating to me. And I love that there's people who have different sort of strengths on your team. Like this person is an actor and like was doing that and now is on this team. So I'm wondering, in your experience, what are some of the best ways that actors become connected with filmmakers and sort of engage in film festivals?
Well, I think attending them and attending all the networking events are usually open to people in the industry. Like, you can buy an industry pass.
Okay.
That's like one way to do it. One way is to like be in a film that gets in a festival, and it's like, how do I get to that point?
Right.
And I think this is like the advice I've been giving to a lot of actors lately, is to stop waiting around for someone to decide you're perfect for a part and make your perfect part. Like, make something.
I can't, like, I want to like put that on a loudspeaker. That's
because
great.
If we waited as a queer community for someone to write like the next Argentinian trans ET movie, it's not going to happen unless you write it.
That's true. Unfortunate, but true.
It's kind of empowering though to know that like you just need to find people who are making stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who talk about stuff, but find the people who are making tons of content, whether or not it's like all amazing. It's about repetition and just like doing it all the, like, even if you're not in a show right now, or you're not like booking anything at this moment, like, you can be making your own content online. You can be doing what you're doing. Like, you can be hosting a show and like building your brand and like putting yourself out there and meeting people. Like, we went to the same high school, right? So I'll always remember that.
Yes.
And like, I could totally write a part for you in like a short that I do. Like if I'm going to do a lot of things that I do. Okay, wait, let me backtrack.
Okay.
A great way to bust in though, to like get your reel going is like 48-hour film projects.
Okay. Can you
That's
talk
like
a
a great way to just like practice and like get stuff going. There's horror ones they do every October, and like every summer different cities have them. And even if you don't have a team, you can like say, hey, I'm an actor, and like put up your headshot and see if a team wants to take you. And if not, build your own team. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of actors kind of languish waiting for someone to notice them. When it's like you can really just invest in yourself and like notice yourself and like put yourself out there. And then people will have to pay attention.
Yeah. That's great. That's very good advice. Yeah.
Yeah. I just like making stuff with my friends too. So like, even if your friend's not a filmmaker per se, like maybe they can hold the camera. Maybe they can like, technology is such that like everybody can edit on an app on their phone now. Like you can be telling whatever story you want.
Yeah.
And finding those characters that you want to play.
That's so true. I think like especially now in quarantine when everyone's in their houses, like I know I found this for myself, like just being at home, I'm like, well, I'm bored. Like I want to make something. And before it's like, oh, I've always been busy with, you know, being in rehearsal for something, or I have homework, or I have this or that. But now it's like, okay, if I want to do something creative, I literally have to make it myself. And so it's forced me to figure out a lot of things. Like I've figured out editing softwares and, you know, graphic design things. And I've created this show and just done stuff that I've never really challenged myself to do before. And I have to tell you, it's been so fun, like taking the ownership over, you know, my own artistry. It's like I can do whatever the hell I want, you know, and there's a great freedom in that.
And I feel like maybe in acting school, like actors are taught that, you know, there's always like 10 people lined up for your part.
Right.
Right? I feel like they hammer that through your head that like, you're not going to make it and you're going to, there's always 10 people waiting to replace you and you're expendable. I just really don't feel that way about actors. It's not how I approach my craft or art. And I feel like actors are more than just talking props. They can really make or break anything. They're the emotional connection to what story we're trying to tell. Yeah. So like what I can also recommend for actors who are trying to break into the biz is like take a writing class. Like understand how like the hero's journey, understand the beginning and middle and end of something, and start showing that you can show progress in your character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just like, if you submit your stuff to enough film festivals, like you'll get in and you can go and meet more people that do what you want to be doing. Like I'm 31 and my road to like being full-time doing what I want to do has been really long. I worked in Spanish language Latin marketing for a while. I was a restaurateur's personal assistant and photo editor. I worked for like this horrible company where I wrote scripts for what's the word? Like exterminator commercials. It's like, get the roaches out from under your bed. Kind of just like discuss, like, you know, anything for a buck, but then I'd also like just trying to get on as many sets as possible. As a PA, as anything. Like I've done sound, I've done grip, I've done camera, I've produced, I have done everything. Even though what I went to school for was like writing.
Sure.
You just gotta like put yourself out there, find out who's making stuff and be like, hey, I'd love to help out on set. And then just kind of dive in and try to make friends instead of try to make contacts, I think.
Try to make friends. I like that. I like that a lot. And I think that sort of mindset takes a lot of pressure off, you know?
Right?
Because it kind of goes back to what you said before about sort of seeking out the people who you feel have the same vibe as you. It's like the people we want to spend time with, you know? Those
exactly. Like you spend a lot of time with your crew.
Yeah.
And I think it's more important to me that I vibe like on a, you know, basic values level. Like anyone can be taught something. You can teach cinematography. You can teach someone how to operate a mic. but you can't teach like the right attitude to like always kind of jive with people well. You know what I mean? Like
Yes, I do.
I've worked where I've been in the position to hire like a sound person, and maybe the best guy in town, I'm not going to hire because he's a dick. Or sorry, because he's an asshole. You know what I mean? I just said one bad word. Oh my gosh.
No, bring him on.
PG. You know, it's kind of like,
yes.
And also another part of it is like getting over the fact that a lot of film culture also tells you that like, you know, you need to start out at the bottom and, you know, pay your dues, which I think is just kind of baloney. I think we should just like spot someone's talent and cultivate it. And that's why for OUTstream, we were really intentional about picking people who'd never programmed before and inviting them to be on our screening committee. And we have on our programming committee, we have 2 people who have worked in the film festival arena, but oh my gosh, this is crazy. Who've worked in the film festival arena, but haven't gotten a chance to be a programmer. It can be very gatekeepery, you know, because basically what you're saying is like, I'm a professional tastemaker. I'm deciding what people are going to watch. Right. And historically, that has been like a ton of cis straight white men deciding what we're going to watch at film festivals, which is in turn going to be what studios see and then pick up. And then it's what audiences are going to see. So if we can empower more queer and trans people and people of color to be tastemakers, then that's good. I'm all about like, how many people can I invite to my project to have a good time? Like film, I think in particular in a film festival is like, it should be an invitation more than a competition.
That's lovely.
It's my philosophy on it. It's why I love film. I get to meet so many people I wouldn't meet otherwise. Yeah.
Well, and I guess I can assume that perspective keeps you from feeling bitter about the assholes in the industry, you know, because there are a lot of them in all of the arts, but there are also like a ton of amazing people.
Right?
But yeah.
There's just like so many cool women and people of color. And yes, there's also some dope straight cis white men that like you can totally clown with that are awesome. I don't want to like, you know what I mean? Like my writing partner who's helping me write my queer horror is a straight cis white man that I cherish deeply. But it's all about just like, you know, like what strengths, it's about believing that you have strengths to bring to the table.
Yeah.
And like not being too afraid to just like walk up to someone you think is cool and be like, hey, like what are you doing and how can I be involved?
Yeah.
And most of the time, if they're not a jerk, they will tell you.
Well, that kind of brings me to my favorite question for you. So tell me, who is someone that is not in your network that you wish was? And then how would you go about getting them into your network?
Okay, so there's one person who's I sort of hero worship.
Okay.
And she's noticed me only a little bit because she like liked something I tagged her in on Instagram once. But there's this one actress, writer, producer who made this show Difficult People named Julie Klausner.
Okay.
And I just feel like she's who I want to be when I actualize. I never say who I want to be when I grow up because that feels like a little ageist, but like she's who I want to be when I actualize. And she just rules hard. And I think if I met her in person, she might be one of the very few people I would be very starstruck about. Just because she's so funny and does exactly what I want to be doing. She like writes television sitcoms and stars in them. I don't really want to star in them, but I would love to be writing them about the kind of women that we are, sort of loud and, you know, wild. So how I should go about it is maybe I should get her email from her agent and send her an email or something. But instead, what I've done is occasionally send her things on. I'll send her things on Instagram and she'll respond like, thanks. Like it. But I could really like leverage my partner's IMDb Pro account and get her agent. And if I really wanted to talk to her, I could find some panel to make up to have her on. Like, how are we being creative in quarantine, Julie Klausner? How can you talk to women? And then I'll use like that. That would be probably how I would go about it. Is I
I
would plan
would
like an
tune
event
into
and
that
invite her.
hardcore. Yes.
Yeah.
That's great.
She's
So
writing for
you
Kids in the Hall right now, which is like really exciting.
wait, say that again. She's writing what?
She's writing for the new season of Kids in the Hall, this like
Oh,
Canadian comedy show from the 90s.
okay.
Pretty psyched about it.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, anyway,
So she's the one.
she's the one, and she'd also be my like. She also works with Billy Eichner, another person I'm obsessed with. So,
oh my God, Billy Eichner.
Billy Eichner is the co-star on Difficult People with her, and Cole Escola, who's a local Oregon boy, queer comedian.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
a good show. It's set in New York, but there's that Oregon connection with Cole.
Okay, it's called Difficult People. I know I've heard of it,
on
but
Hulu.
I haven't watched
so
it.
Good.
Okay.
It was canceled before its time, but it's pretty awesome. It's getting me through this tough time. It's just the right amount of cynical and funny, so it doesn't feel like, I'm so happy during a hard time. It's like, no, everything sucks, but let's laugh about it.
I know. That's the
I think it's a great attitude, honestly.
It is the only attitude right now. Like, there's no like real happiness, but there's a lot of like ironic, cynical laughter, at least for me.
Which is good, which is fine.
It is good. I'm wondering, how did you first know about Julie? Like, what was your introduction to her?
It was Difficult People, actually.
Okay.
I just saw it come up on Hulu like the day it launched, and I was hooked immediately. She's up there with like Jessica Stevenson's, like a British actress, comedian. There's just like a certain kind of like woman that's really funny to me. Oh, I'm getting a little bit of a film noir vibe.
You sort of are. I kind of dig it.
Sorry. The sun is setting. But yeah, it's funny, like the people that I would be starstruck about are like women that I kind of aspire to be like, basically.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Like I've met like, I don't know, I've met Jason Derulo and I was kind of like, okay. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, you bought him coffee, right? And you were like,
hot chocolate, actually. He asked for hot chocolate instead of coffee when I was a PA on this show in London. And he was just so happy someone had an American accent and that he could understand them because it was his first trip outside of the States.
Bless his heart.
Anyway, yeah, you just end up meeting a bunch of random celebrities over the years if you PA enough. Even in Portland, like Chad Ochocinco. I think he's like a famous football player. I worked on a pilot for him that never went anywhere. But you kind of get used to it, but there's just those few people that really, if you met them, you would faint. And totally. Julie Klausner is one of them. She's just so cool.
Well, I literally am going to go watch that show right now. Difficult People. You said it's on Hulu, right?
Yeah. It's like a Hulu original.
Amazing. Well, we are almost out of time, but I want to end the show by shouting out the social media for OUTstream Fest so that people can tune in. So we have, you can find OUTstream Fest on Twitter and Instagram at OUTstream Fest. There it is. And then facebook.com/OUTstream Fest. And just to reiterate, you guys are launching tomorrow. Is that right?
So tomorrow we're launching our Queering the Quarantine Filmmaker Challenge, and that's a free short program. You can just head on over to our website, which is outstreamfest.com, and grab your free tickets. And that will be, it's like kind of like a pre-festival kickoff, and there'll be like a fun little Q&A with some of the filmmakers afterwards. And then June 1st is our opening night film, which will be, it's sponsored by Athlete Ally and GLAAD, and it is this amazing film called Changing the Game about 3 transgender high school students who just want to play their sport in their actual gender, and sort of what they go through civil rights wise to do that.
Interesting.
And then we'll have like a really awesome talk back afterwards with like some famous trans athletes with all the subjects of the film and one of the producers, and it'll be really cool.
That sounds so great. Yeah.
Yeah. And then just one last plug is our closing night is a film called Gay Chorus Deep South, and we'll have a recording from the actual San Francisco Gay Men's Chorus, who are the subject of the documentary. It's about their week-long trip to the South
Cool.
after Donald Trump's reelection,
Mhm.
to sort of promote unity and love and sort of combat these sort of preconceived notions we might have about people in the South and how they feel about queer people. So it's actually really awesome. So we're going to have a great little musical performance afterwards.
Oh,
For that.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait. I'm so excited to tune in.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Megan, on Avenue A. It was such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be involved.
Yeah, yay. What a fun way to spend my Friday evening.
I know, right?
Okay, so thanks so much. And thank you everyone who tuned in. We really appreciate it. You can find this live stream. It'll be posted on facebook.com/Avenue A Live and on my personal YouTube page, Kelsey Bentz. So we will see everyone next time. Thank you so much.
Bye.